Hi guys, it's Miss Rodriguez, and today we're going to start part 5, the last part of Amber Brown Wants Extra Credit. So let's sit back and let's enjoy. In case you forgot what happened in the last chapter, Amber was making brownies with her mom and Max when her dad called. Chapter 15. Hi, honey. My dad sounds like he's practically next door, not all the way in Paris, France. How are you? Fine, I say. What are you doing? I don't want to mention the good time that Max, Mom, and I are having, and so I say, not much. I miss you so much. Do you miss me? Yes, Daddy, I miss you bunches. I sit in the living room talking on the phone. My mother and Max are in the kitchen. I miss you, I repeat. How much? He's smiling, I can tell by his voice. This much, and I spread my arms out as far as I can, holding the phone between my ear. And how much is that? He says, playing the I love you this much game we've always played with each other. To the next universe, I tell him. To the farthest galaxy, he tells me. I love you and miss you that much. I try to imagine what he's looking like at the other end. I haven't seen my father for a couple of months, not since last summer when my Aunt Pam took me to London, England. I was supposed to visit him in Paris for a week, but then I got the chicken pox and he had to come to London instead. We only got to spend a couple of days together. And even though we talk on the phone every week, it's just not the same. Just before I start to tell him some stuff about me, he starts talking about what he's been doing, how he went to Euro Disney with a friend of his from work and her little boy. I was supposed to go to Euro Disney with him last summer. I hate the chicken pox. All I have is a Euro Disney sweatshirt my dad sent me before I even went to England. Who is your friend, the one with the little boy? Did her husband go too? There's a pause for a minute, and then my dad says, they're divorced. You know, Amber, I think you'd really like Judith and her son, Todd. He's the cutest little 6-year-old I've ever, and I've been spending a lot of time with him lately. And I think, ugh, here we go again. I'm just getting used to Max, and now I have to go find out about Judith and Todd. I say nothing for a minute, and then I say, is he cuter than I was when I was 6? No one's cuter than my Amber, he says. My stomach starts to hurt. I wonder, have I been eating too much brownie batter? My father continues, maybe you can come over here during Christmas vacation and meet them. I'm sure you'll really like them, and we'll be able to spend lots of time together. This is too much to think about, and I'm starting to get a headache, a stomach ache, a headache. Maybe it's attack of the killer flu that suddenly attacks 9-year-old girls who've eaten too much brownie batter. Or maybe it's a telephone virus. I don't want to meet this Judith person and her little son who gets to spend time with my dad in Euro Disney when I hardly ever get to see him. Why did my dad even have to mention them? This is my phone call and my time with him. Amber, I really miss you so much. Tell me, what have you been doing? I feel like I'm missing so much. You could move back, I tell him. I can't, not yet, he sighs. We've been through this already. It's my job, and I need to earn money. I've got a lot of extra expenses. Maybe you'd have more money if you weren't taking strangers to Disney, I tell him. Amber, don't be silly, he says. I hate to be told I'm being silly when I'm just telling him how I feel. Look, I've got to get going. Mom and I are in the middle of making brownies with her friend Max. He took me shopping today. We're having a lot of fun. There is silence on the other end of the phone. I continue. In a couple of weeks, there's going to be a carnival at school. I'm probably going to be really busy going to that with my mom and Max. You'll probably be very busy doing something with Judith and her son. So if you don't call, that's okay. Amber, my dad raises his voice. Stop this. Stop this right now. Don't be angry. I only mentioned Judith because I want you to know what's going on in my life so that we can stay close. I'm sorry if I did this the wrong way. You could have asked about my schoolwork, I said. Actually, I've been getting in trouble in school. I haven't been doing my schoolwork. There is silence on the other end for a moment, and then my dad says, why didn't your mother call me and tell me about this? She's handling it, I lie. She didn't have to spend her money on a long distance phone call, and anyway, she talks to Max about stuff like this now. Amber, when we're finished talking, I need to speak to your mother. She and Max are watching to make sure the brownies don't burn, and I've got to go back now and help them. It was nice talking to you. And I hang up the phone. I hang up the phone before we even have our kissing contest, which is always how we end a phone call. That's where we make a kissing sound into the phone until one of us gets tired and quits and the other one wins. No kissing contest today. No winners. I can feel myself start to cry. The phone rings again, and I run up the stairs. Chapter 16. My Dad book. I open the drawer of my dresser, take it out, sit down in the bed, and think about the best way to destroy it. I could feed it into the garbage disposal. I could take each picture out of the book and rip it up in teeny tiny, minuscule little pieces. I could take a picture of him and add drawings to it of what I think Judith and her son look like, and then I could rip it up into tiny little pieces. I could blow my nose on some of the pictures, put a little snot all across my father's face. I could, but I can't. I don't want to destroy my dad book. Opening it, I look at some of the pictures. The time my dad and I won the father-daughter race at my school. I wonder who's going to win it this year. Maybe they'll have a mother's boyfriend-daughter race this year, and Max and I can win. Max. I don't know what to think about him either. I don't know why everything has to become so complicated. There's a knock at the door, and it's my mother. I know. Now it's time for a mother-daughter talk about how my parents have to make new lives, how it's important for me to be flexible and understanding, how while they don't love each other, they'll always love me. I don't say anything. There's another knock on the door, and then my mom walks in and sits down on my bed. I know. You love me. You have to make a new life. Max is a wonderful person. You and Dad hate each other's guts, but you'll always love me. I look at my mom. Well, I guess that's it, she says. She stands up to leave. She sits down again. No, actually, there is more. Do you want to say it, or should I say the rest of the things that need to be said and need to be done? I think I said everything. I shrug. She picks up my dad book and opens it. The page she has turned to is a picture of my dad with me sitting on Santa's knee. She smiles at it and looks at me. Amber, your dad is very upset that you hung up on him like that. What do you care? You hate his guts. I make a face. She thinks for a minute. Some of his guts I hate, but Amber, I don't hate all of his guts. I laugh. How many of his guts do you hate? She shakes her head. Do not make a joke about this. This is serious. I know that you're upset. Your father told me what's upsetting you. And Amber, you have a right to your feelings, but you know that you have to be open to change. That's not my changes. They're yours and Dad's. This time I'm not laughing. You're making changes too. You're getting older. You like different things. You even look different. Your dad and I have to get used to those changes. But I'm a kid. I have to grow up and change and be different. Well, so do we. My mother is trying to be calm. Everyone in the world has to grow and change in some ways. But everybody doesn't have to like the changes. You don't like everything I do. My mom pretends to pout, and you don't like everything I do. I pout more. I'm sick of having to hear this all the time, and I'm sick of having to say it all the time. She makes a super pouting face, and then she smiles. Amber Brown, you just have to get used to changes. We are both quiet for a minute, and then she says, and what's this about you still not doing your schoolwork? Did you mean what you told your father? Great. I try to work really hard so she doesn't find out, and then I go and I tattle on myself. I tell her what's going on. I explain what Miss Holt said about not giving me extra credit. You're right, she says. My mother pats me on the head. It makes me nuts when she pats me on the head. But I want extra credit. I want a gold star for all the stuff I'm going through. It's called living. Everyone goes through real stuff, and no one gets a gold star for doing what they should be doing. That's one of the great truths, I say. If I ever get married, I tell my mom, and have a kid, I'm never going to get divorced. Never. I hope you never have to. My mother looks at me and gives me a hug, and I hug her back. And then we look at each other. Mom, if I can't have a gold star, can I at least have a brownie? She squeezes my hand and nods. Let's go down and get some before Max eats them all. I bet he's not eating the tuna fish brownie and jelly bean brownie. I bet he's not, she agrees, and I bet you won't either. We get up and we go downstairs. On the way, I think of a slogan to use on my project. With Amber Brownies, you get just desserts. Chapter 17, Progress Report. After some initial problems, Amber is doing quite well in school on her subject areas. She is turning in good work on time. Amber still needs to work very hard in math, but I can tell she is trying. Her attitude is much better, and her Amber Brownies report was a delight and quite tasty. Amber deserves credit for doing her best. I look forward to watching her progress for the rest of the school year. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed a little bit of Amber Brown Wants Extra Credit, and I hope you get to read another or listen to another Amber story soon. See you soon. Love you.